All right, let's dive right into one of Japan's most deeply unsettling legends. It's the story of a haunted doll, Okiku, whose hair has, believe it or not, been growing for over 100 years. But this is so much more than just a ghost story. It's a really intense tale about love, loss, and a curse that just refuses to fade away. I want you to think back to when you were a little kid. Did you have that one special toy? You know the one I'm talking about. Maybe a teddy bear or a doll that you literally took everywhere. You told it all your secrets. It was your absolute best friend. It's such a sweet, comforting memory, right? Okay, but what if that friend, that source of comfort, turned into something else, something terrifying? What if a tragedy twisted that innocent object into a vessel for your worst nightmare? Well, that's exactly where the story is headed. So let's go back in time. The year is 1918 in Japan. We're about to meet the Suzuki family, and they have no idea that a simple, loving gift is about to change their lives forever. Aikichi Suzuki was 17, and he absolutely adored his little sister, Kikuko. She was about to turn 4, and all she wanted in the world was a doll to be her best friend. But here's the thing, the Suzuki family didn't have much money. Her parents just couldn't afford it. Aikichi, though, couldn't stand to see his sister disappointed, so he spent a whole month working every odd job he could find, scraping together every single penny. While he was out looking, Aikichi spotted a doll in a shop window that just stopped him in his tracks. It was a traditional Japanese doll wearing a little red kimono. It had this strangely peaceful look on its face, but its eyes were just so deep, it was almost like they were really seeing him. He knew right then and there, this was the one for Kikuko. And the gift? It was a huge hit, but the joy that filled the Suzuki home was, so tragically, not going to last. And that beautiful doll would soon take on a very, very dark new meaning. Kikuko was beyond happy. She immediately named the doll Okiku, and from that moment on, they were inseparable. She combed its hair, she talked to it for hours, she slept with it every single night. Okiku wasn't just a toy, it was the best friend she had always dreamed of. And then the absolute unthinkable happened. Just a few weeks after her birthday, Kikuko was bitten by a mosquito and came down with a horrible case of malaria. The illness was incredibly fast and it was brutal. In her very last moments, she was still holding her beloved Okiku doll tight to her chest, and then she was gone. The family was just devastated. They wanted to place the doll with Kikuko for her cremation, which is a common tradition, but for some reason they weren't allowed to. So instead, they placed it on a memorial shelf in their home to honor her. And that is when things started to get really, really strange. At first, it was subtle stuff, things you might dismiss. At night, Aikichi would hear these faint whispers and a little girl's laughter that sounded just like his sister. Then one day, he gets home and all of Kikuko's old drawings are scattered across his floor. And lying right there in the middle of it all was the Okiku doll. All the windows were shut, nobody else was home. As he went to put the doll back on its shelf, Aikichi noticed something that was just impossible. The doll's hair, which she knew for a fact was cut to neck length, was now longer. It was down to its shoulders. And it wasn't just the length. The color had changed from jet black to a sort of brownish color, and it even had split ends. It looked like real human hair. When Aikichi told his parents, they just thought his grief was playing tricks on him. To prove there was nothing to worry about, his mother grabbed a pair of scissors and trimmed the doll's hair right back to its original length. This was supposed to bring them peace of mind. Instead, it unleashed an absolute nightmare. What came next wasn't just a couple of spooky coincidences. For the next 2 decades, the Suzuki family's life became a living hell. The very night after the haircut, Ikichi's mother had a terrifying nightmare that Kikuko was crying, furious that they had cut her doll's hair. She woke up screaming because the Okiku doll was sitting on her chest. Soon, the entire family was having these awful nightmares of the doll attacking them. They'd see its head turn all by itself. Ikichi swore he even saw it blink. The father, completely terrified, decided this had to end. He took the doll out to a nearby field and he buried it deep in the ground. But that night, they heard this violent, angry knocking at the front door. And when they opened it, Okiku was just there. Suddenly, its hair started growing at this insane speed, shooting out and wrapping around the father's neck, choking him. In a panic, Aikichi just screamed his sister's name, Kikuko. And just like that, the doll went limp. The hair fell away.
They were completely trapped. Every single time they tried to get rid of the doll, it came back, angrier than before. And this wasn't just for a week or a month. They lived with this curse for 20 years.
After 2 full decades of this torment, the family finally found a way out. They realized they couldn't destroy the curse, but maybe they could find a place to contain it. So, in 1938, the family was finally able to move away, but they knew they couldn't just leave the doll. So they took it to the monks at the Mannenji Buddhist temple. They told them the entire story and begged them to take it. The monks, seeing their desperation, agreed. And that's how the doll's bizarre journey continued, from a little girl's most treasured toy in 1918 to a terrifying cursed object given to a temple in 1938, where it still sits to this very day, an object of both fear and fascination. But get this, even inside the sacred walls of the temple, the phenomena have not stopped. The monks there confirm it. The doll's hair continues to grow. They actually have to trim it on a regular basis. You can go and see the doll, but taking pictures is absolutely forbidden. And the legend says that if you stare into its eyes for too long, you'll be plagued by horrific nightmares.
For decades, that was the story. A creepy doll with hair that just won't stop growing. But recently, the monks noticed something new. Something, frankly, way more disturbing. The doll's mouth, which for a century was just a closed, painted line, has started to slowly open. And inside, people who have seen it claim that you can see what look unmistakably like small, human-like teeth starting to grow. So that leaves us with this one final, chilling question. Is the spirit inside that doll still the heartbroken little girl Kikuko, forever attached to her favorite toy? Or did the family's decades of grief and terror open a doorway for something else, something much older and far more evil, to slip inside and take her place? We might never really know the answer,